The wood-planked floors squeaked under my steps when I walked in the room. Across from me a stream of sunlight peeked behind the forest green curtain at the bay window. I cautiously stepped towards my left to search a tall wooden wardrobe. The top of the dresser had cabinet doors that I opened to find 3 coats hanging on the inside. I searched the pockets of each coat. Nothing was there. I close the cabinet door silently and make my way down to the first of 2 drawers. Completely empty except for dust. Second drawer was the same. Next to the wardrobe was an equally tall bookshelf. I don't expect to find anything there, but for kicks I check anyway. I run my fingers across a row of books, skimming over the titles. Something stops me on a weathered book with no title on the spine. I pull it from the row, letting it open in my hands to a page that is bookmarked with leaves. 300 in leaves. That's more than enough to get me out and away. Tapping of footsteps and squeaking on the floorboards behind me sends a startling gasp out of my mouth. I drop the book and hide the leaves behind my back while whirling around to see who was in the doorway. Maldron lingers with his lanky, scrawny figure. His brown brow-length hair disheveled as if he just woke up. Rubbing one eye with stretching his other arm for a yawn, he questions, "What are you doing? You know you aren't supposed to be in here." Pausing to take time to focus his eyes on me, then to the book on the floor. "What do you think you're doing?" he roared, racing across the room to grab me. I can only stand there flinching, bracing for whatever he intended to do. His long bony fingers wrapped around my upper arm, squeezing with his rage. Maldron leads me out of the room and across the hall to the living area. There is an old gray couch where Edwin sat, our oldest brother. His sandy brown curly mop sticking up from the back of the seat, he pops up and impatiently asks what's going on. What's the tricky girl doing now? Edwin is just as tall and skinny as Maldron. They could almost pass as twins if it weren't for their 2 very different traits. Maldron had straight brown hair and brown eyes, where Edwin had the curls and blue eyes. "I caught her stealing the leaf stash," explained Maldron. "Why? Where do you plan on going? There's not enough to sustain yourself on your own. Do we not care for you?" Edwin questioned as he moved closer and closer to me. I braced myself, keeping my gaze to the ground. I counted the planks of wood in an attempt to keep calm. My hand was beginning to turn purple and go numb from Maldron's grip. My lack of eye contact seemed to irritate Edwin as I saw his fists clench. I slowly began to move my face in his direction, but as soon as I did, a harsh blow plows on my temple. If Maldron was not holding me, I most definitely would have hit the floor. I used my free left hand to hold the throbbing right side of my face. Tears welled in my eyes almost as if on command. Edwin's face red with anger. "Where's the leaves?" Grinding the words in my ear so closely that I felt him spit into my hair. I stand mute, refusing to give up my only opportunity to get out. Edwin straddles my throat with his hands and squeezes. I feel my blood becoming trapped in my face. I can't get a breath in. I become increasingly lightheaded as he grips tighter. Just when I think I'm going to lose consciousness, he releases me. My cheeks become flushed and hot as I gasp for a breath. "Where is it?" Edwin demands once more. I locked eyes with him and spit a solid chunk of mucus into his face. Without hesitation his fist flies and connects with my temple again. This time I'm hit with a force that makes me fall to the ground and out of Maldron's bony hand. Pain shoots through my head while I slowly blink to open my eyes. I'm alive for now. As my eyes begin to adjust to the room, I notice no shoes directly in front of me. They must be gone. I nimbly move my head to gaze around the rest of the room. I see no one and it is unusually quiet. When I push myself up from the floor, a sharp sting pulses up my arm. I must have landed on it when I fell. I turn about the room to see the couch is empty and no one is around. I go back to the hall to see nobody in the adjacent room with the bookshelf. I turn left and peer down the hall. Squinting to try to strengthen my sight, I see what I believe to be a silhouette. Tall and scrawny but a small head. "Maldron." I spoke out. It doesn't move. I must have taken a harder hit than I thought. I twist to go the opposite direction of the figure towards the front door. The moment I grabbed the door handle, I could hear feet stomping, racing right for me. Paralyzed by fear, I wait for the sound to stop just behind me. The arm of the silhouette reaches around and connects itself onto my throat, compressing me in a headlock. I begin to squirm out of it the best I can. I swing my legs backwards, stomping my feet in attempts to make contact with the body holding me. By luck I strike and hit what I think is his shin. He screams in outrage and irritation, letting me go. I thrash my fists at him fast and with all my might, hitting him in the back of the skull while he is hunched over, then fleeing down the hall. At the end of the hall there's a staircase to my immediate right leading up to the sleeping quarters. The master bedroom has a window that leads out to the roof. I think, if I make it, I can jump down from the roof to the lawn. I sprint into the bedroom but trip upon entering. My foot caught on an area rug. The carpet was bunched up in the middle, my shoe caught underneath like a perfect fit. I stumbled forward and landed on my elbows and knees. My heart is pulsing so hard in my ears, I don't even hear the steps behind me. A sharp shooting pain engulfs my scalp. I'm being risen from the ground by a hand clasped and tangled in my hair. I reach for the hand, clawing at it to release it from my mane. I'm then tossed aside like a dirty rag. I smack into the wood floor and slide about a foot into the frame of a bed. Realizing how serious things were proceeding, I decided to be prepared to do what is needed. Anything that it takes to get away. When I look up expecting to see one of my brothers, Maldron, or Edwin, the tall dark figure is neither of them. Instead I'm confronted by some horrifying creature. Someone or something I do not recognize. Unsure of what to do, I mount myself in place with my jaw left open in shock. This monster stood towering over me with long skinny legs, and instead of feet there were sharp daggers that jabbed into the wood floorboards. Its arms were equally as long and thin and just as sharp. This beast smelled so foul I can only compare it to rotting eggs. There were porcupine-like spikes protruding from its backside. The beast's torso looked like the flesh was melting off, exposing bright blue insides. The blue seemed to be moving with the creature's breath. Believing already that my eyes were playing tricks on me, I noticed a gray haze emitting from this animal. I flinched when the beast took a step closer towards me and gave out a low growl. The beast unhinged its jaw. Thick milky yellow saliva oozed off its hypodermic needle teeth. Its hollow black eyes lunged for me. I stepped aside, but the creature was faster than me. The beast pins me to the ground. Both of its sharp-ended arms stab into my shoulders. With just enough fight, I was able to break myself free. The beast's only weak spot I see to attack is its large blackened eyes. I grip the creature's head and dig my thumbs into those slimy sockets. It belts out a growl and shakes its head from side to side, but I don't let go. Dark poisonous red tears pour out around my hands. My thumbs push deeper and deeper in. The beast slows its struggle and goes limp. Its heavy frame collapsed over me. I wrap my hands around what I feel to be his exposed rib cage and attempt to push the grotesque creature off of me. I barely lifted the body up, so I began to shimmy my way out from underneath. When I stand up, I have to catch my balance from being exhausted and winded in the struggle. I take another good hard look at the beast and realize it is gone. Where the creature was supposed to be laying dead from my victorious fight laid the body of my brother Edwin. Confused and in a panic, I check for his pulse. There is nothing to be heard or felt. No breath or pulse came from him. Hot stinging tears fill my eyes. I never meant to hurt him, even though I've spent years under him and Maldron's abuse. I wanted to get away from them, but not like this. I dash out the room and into the hall screaming, "Maldron! Maldron!" Darting past and quickly glancing into the room with the bookshelf. I see no one. Also in the living room I can't find Maldron. I pause face to face with the front door. I cautiously reach for the handle. Is this my freedom? Was this the ultimate price I had to pay to earn it? I turn the handle and open the door. The air is chilled, but I move quickly to leave. The moss lawn is a brighter blue than the glow from the creature's ribs. I make about 10 paces out into the environment and I am stopped in my tracks. A low angry growl comes from my right side. A short but thick tree with purple leaves was giving shade to another beast. My gaze is distracted for a second by a man running past. I hope that he sees the beast too. Maybe he will help me. We lock eyes, but he doesn't stop moving. Now I can't breathe, as if someone is constricting my lungs. Something is trickling up the back of my throat that causes me to involuntarily cough. I see red spray from my mouth and land on the sharp-ended arm of the beast. I slow my gaze downward to see this knife-like appendage sticking through my chest. Everything in my body goes cold.